Welcome to our next Level 3 simultaneous equations video. This continues on from the last video. In the last video, we took three equations, which I called equations A, B, and C, and we used an elimination method to start off by eliminating x. We started by using equations A and B to create equation D, and then we used equations B and C to create equation E. Now we're going to carry on from that process. All right, now we're going to eliminate y. We could eliminate z if we wanted, but I'm just going to stick to the process of eliminating x first, eliminating y, and calculating what z is. So we're going to take equation D and multiply everything by 2. Why 2? Because that's the coefficient on the y in the other equation. Right, negative 5y times 2, 210z times 2, and 1,850 times 2. Right, now we're going to move on to equation E and multiply everything by negative 5. Why negative 5? Because that's the coefficient of y in the other equation. So 2y times negative 5, 27z times negative 5, and 370 times negative 5. Right, well, we've got two coefficients equal and we can eliminate y. To do this, we're going to subtract them. Now, just remember your integer rules. Negative 10 subtract negative 10 is the same as those two negatives make a positive. So it's negative 10 plus 10, which is 0, which eliminates. Right, now 420z take away negative 135z. And again, remember your integer rules. A takeaway and a negative make a positive. So we're just left with 420 plus 135, which is 555z. And 3,700 take away negative 1,850. Again, remember your negative rules. It's the same as 3,700 plus 1,850, giving us 5,550. So we've got a statement which says 555z is equal to 5,550. We can now divide both sides by 555 and work out what z is. Z is equal to 10. Right, we're making progress. We've found our first variable. Z is 10. Let's take that variable and go back and substitute it into either D or E to work out y. Now I'm going to use E because D has got negatives in it. So 2y plus 27 times z, which is 27 times 10, makes 370. So 2y plus 270 equals 370. If I take off the 270 off both sides, I'm left with 2y equals 100. And if I divide everything by 2, I'm left with y equal to 50. There's our second variable found. We've found our two variables. We've got one more to go. Now we've got to find x. So let's take the two variables we know. We can't use equations D and E anymore because they have eliminated x, remember. So we've got to go all the way back to either A, B, or C. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to pick equation B because it looks to be the easiest out of all three. And I'm going to substitute in these two values. So I'm going to substitute y is 50 and z is 10 to get 3x plus 50 plus 3 times z, 3 times 10 equals 140. 3x plus 50 plus 30 is 140. So 3x plus 80 is 140. If I subtract 80 off both sides, I'm left with 3x is equal to 60. And divide everything by 3, x equal to 20. We've finally worked out our three variables, x, y, and z. So to sum it all up, remember we had our three equations. We used an elimination method to create equations D and E that had no x. We then eliminated y and calculated z and worked backwards to work out y and x. So we know x is 20. Y is 50 and z is equal to 10. Great, thanks so much for watching the video. It takes a lot of practice, this algebra, so you really need to go and practice it until you feel confident with it.